Hi guys, you are welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I'm AY and I'm a first year medical student of Radioactive University. So in today's video, I'm just going to be taking you through the first 15 questions that are actually calculation, and they don't actually need you to solve them. If you see them in exam, just go straight to the answer. This is just to save your time. So I just took some of my time to actually bring out the questions so that it can help you guys. And one thing is, I've actually made this video before, but it got deleted by mistake. It's so painful, but I just don't have any other option than to redo another one. So if you are new to my channel, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell beside it so that you can get notified anytime I drop a new video. And the best thing you can do for me after watching this video, either before or after, is to share this video to someone else that may need it. Please don't just watch alone. Do well to share. Sharing is caring. You know that already. So alright, let's start. The first question we have here says a boat travels due east at a speed of 40 meters per second across a river flowing due south at 30 meters per second. This is east, this is south. 30 meters per second, 40 meters per second. Now, what is the resultant speed of the boat? The resultant speed is like this. And note that anytime that they are asking for resultant speed like this, and you are given the angle 90 degree, the best thing is for you to calculate the resultant first using Pythagoras theorem. Now, but in order to save our time, there is something we call Pythagorean triple. So this particular 3, 4, and 5, they are Pythagorean triple. Same thing as 30, 40, and 50. And same thing as 5, 12, and 13. So in your next exam, anytime you are given question like this, if you are given 2 of them and they ask you to calculate the resultant, no need of solving anything, just go for the third one. Now here we are given, I even forgot to write this option. This is a mistake. I have to pause this video and do that now. Alright, so I've already gotten the options. I've written it down. So option to this question now, which option is correct? Option C, which is 50. So anytime you are given 3, 4, and 5, because of the angle that is between them, which is 90 degree, instead of you using Pythagoras theorem then start to solve, just go for the third one. If you are given 4 Newton and 5 Newton in your exam and they ask you to calculate the resultant, you already know what the third one will be, 3 Newton. I'm sure you get it. If you are given 12 and 5 in your exam and they ask you to calculate the resultant, you already know that your answer will be what? 13. So no need of solving anything, just go straight to your answer. Now let's move to the next question we have here. The next question is under radioactivity. It says the half-life of a radioactive element is 9 days. What fraction of atoms has decayed in 36 days? Now when we talk about fraction that has decayed, the formula is usually fraction that decay equals to 1 minus fraction that remains. That is normal fraction that remains. Assuming the fraction that remains is 1 over 4. 1 over 4. So fraction that has decayed is going to be 1 minus 1 over 4. Now if you solve this, you are going to get 3 over 4. Let me explain the secret behind this. If you see question on this on exam, so that anytime they ask you for fraction that has decayed, your option, like the correct answer, will be that the numerator will be 1 mark less than the denominator. That is, the numerator will be 1 less than the denominator. If you will have something like 7 over 8, something like 15 over 16, something like 31 over 32. I think you get it. Now to this question now, which option is correct? 15 over 16. Because for you to minus, if you minus 1 from 1 over 16, that's when you will get 15 over 16. So any of your option, anywhere they ask for fraction that has decayed, go for the option that has 1 mark less than the numerator. It may be 120, I think this should be 164, okay, 63 over 64. It may be 127 over 128. Just ensure that when they ask for fraction that has decay, your option is the one that that the numerator is 1 mark less than the denominator. Alright, so let's move to the next question. If you see that particular question in the exam, don't waste too much time to solve it. Just check the option and pick your answer, then move on. They said the resultant of two forces acting on an object is maximum if the angle between them is dash. Now, when we talk about maximum angle, the resultant of two forces acting on an object is maximum when the angle between them, theta, is maximum. When the angle between them is 0 degree. Note it, while theta is minimum when the angle between them is 180 degree. No need of proving anything. Just once you see this in exam, just go for your answer. It's in two dimensions. They can ask you for maximum, they can ask you for minimum. So anyone, whichever one they ask you for, just go for your answer straight. Now, question 4. They said, what is the angle of dip at the magnetic equator? This question also is divided into two. We have angle of dip at the equator and at the pole. So for angle of dip at the equator is usually 0 degree, while angle of dip at the pole is 90 degree. Now, which one are they asking us here? What is the angle of dip at the magnetic equator? Then we go for 0 degree. No need of calculating anything, no need of drawing any diagram, no need of checking anything. At the equator, like this, 0 degree. At the pole, like this, 90 degree. Simple as that. Now for the next question, question 5. They said, if the distance between two suspended masses is tripled, the gravitational force of attraction between them is reduced by. This question also doesn't require too much solving. You already know that this question is under Newton's law of gravitation. So, and the formula is F equals to what? G m1 m2 over r square. Now, this r square is where our bone of contention is going to be. Since our r is the distance. Now, what did they say happen to the distance? If the distance is tripled, then we say equals to, let's give all this 1 over tripled distance 3 square. 3 square is equals to what? 1 over 9. That is, if our distance is tripled, what will happen to the force? The force will be reduced by 1/9, which is this. Now, let me now give you these tips. Anytime they ask question on this aspect, if they said the distance between them is doubled, which will be 1 over 2 square, what will happen to the force? It will be 2 square is what? 4. 1 over 4. That is, it will be 1/4 or 1/4 of the initial value. Now, if they said the distance is quadrupled, which is 4 times, quadruple means 4 times, it will be 1 over 4 square. 4 square is what? 16. 1 over 16. That is 1/16 of the original value. So what you just need to check anytime you are given question on this is what happened to the distance. Once you know what happened to this distance, square it, then 1 over whatever you square. If they said it is doubled, square the double. Double means 2. 2 square, 4. 1 over 4. If they said it's tripled, 3 square, 9. 1 over 9. If they said it's quadrupled, or if they say it's multiplied by 5, just say 5 square, 25. 1 over 25. So as simple as that. Alright, let's move to the next question here. The next question we have here is, the resultant of two forces of 12 Newton is 13 Newton. Now, according to this, now you don't need any preacher to tell you that this question is this particular three values, that they are Pythagorean triple. And when we are dealing with Pythagorean triple, what will be the angle between them? As I explained here earlier, the angle between them is what? 90 degree. So there's no need of solving anything. If we want to solve here, we have to make use of cosine rule to be putting the angle b square equals to this equals to that, that will just waste our time. So you already know that this is a Pythagorean triple, then option C is very correct. If you are given for 3, 4 and 5 too, they are also Pythagorean triple. Just go straight for your answer, which is 90 degree. Alright, let's continue because of our time. The next question here, if a heavy barrel is rolled up a plane inclined at 30 degree to the horizontal, its velocity ratio will be dash. We already know that the velocity ratio of an inclined plane equals to 1 over sine theta, right? So that's the formula. But in this case, anytime you are given 30 degree, do you need to solve anything? No. Sine 30 is 0.5, so 1 over sine 30 degree. If you calculate it, if you press your calculator, you are going to get 2. Now, in the light of this, anytime you are given question like this under inclined plane and you are given 30 degree, don't solve anything. Just go for option 2. 2 will surely be the correct answer. Once you are given an inclined plane and you are given sine 30 degree, go for 2. 2 will be the correct answer. There's no need of wasting time to solve anything. It's a very common question, like they do repeat it several times. Now, the next question we have here is the magnification. They talk about the magnification of an object 2 centimeter tall when placed 10 centimeter in front of a plane mirror is dash. Now, they mention plane mirror. One of the characteristics of plane mirror is that V is equals to U. Now, if the V is equals to U, that means, and the formula of our magnification is equals to V over U. Now, if our V is 2, U will also be 2. If our V is 3, U will also be 3. Now, 2 over 2, 1. 3 over 3, 1. That is, magnification of a plane mirror is usually 1. So no need of solving anything. Anytime they just ask you that what's the magnification of a plane mirror, all these parameters that they put there, all this, the magnification of an object 2 centimeter tall when placed in front of 10, they are just a waste of time. They are just to test your intelligence. So that's why it's very important when solving physics question to firstly interpret the question. Once you interpret and you get what the question is asking you, you won't spend much time on it. Now let's move to the next question here. So we are in question 9. The question says, calculate the escape velocity of a satellite launched from the Earth's surface if the radius of the Earth is 6.4 times 10 raised to the power 6 meter. Now, as a smart student, you don't need to write anything down before you pick your answer. But we all know that the formula is phi equals to square root of 2gr. If you substitute all these parameters to it, you substitute our radius 6.4 times 10 raised to the power 6 and our g 10 meter per second square, you are going to get the same answer. Now, the constant value for escape velocity is 11.3 kilometer per second or 11,300 meter per second. So it depends on the unit. That's why unit is very important. If kilometer, this kilometer that is there, that's the reason why this one is 11.3. If we remove kilometer, that means we are going to multiply it by 1,000. So either this or this is correct. So from this, 11.3 is the correct answer. If you solve it, you will get the same thing. But I think Jamb has asked question on escape velocity up to 5 times in Utme. So you have to be very careful. Once you see question on them, don't waste your time on still solving them. Solving it is just a waste, total waste of time. 11.3 is the constant value for escape velocity. Either you solve it or you did not solve it. And that's why any velocity that is more than this, it's no more in this world. It's no more in this earth. Any velocity that is more than the escape velocity is no more in this earth. Now let's continue. We said the next question says, what is the least possible error? Alright, the next question here says, what is the least possible error encountered when taking measurements with a meter rule? All these questions are UTME questions. I think you can see that I note them out beside them. Now, when we are talking about the least possible error encountered when taking measurements with meter rule, the calibration of a meter rule, like the smallest unit that we may have, is 0.1 centimeter or 1 millimeter. Now, when we are dealing with like the meter rule, we all know that meter rule is 100 centimeter. Like the old meter rule like this is 100. So it has a calibration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 100. Now between them, we still now have sub calibration whereby we have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. Then we get to 1. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. So all those ones, they are also sub-calibration, and each of them are 0.1 centimeter. And we all know that 0.1 centimeter is the same thing as 1 millimeter, just like saying 1 times 10 raised power minus 1. 1 times 10 raised power minus 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter. So this minus 1 is representing centi means 10 raised power minus 2 and milli means 10 raised power minus 3. So multiply 10 raised power minus 1 with 10 raised power minus 2, we get 10 raised power minus 3, which is 1 millimeter as well. Now when we are now talking about the least possible error encountered, you just multiply them, either of them, by 1/2. That is, if we want to work with centimeter, 1/2 times 0.1 centimeter, which is equals to 0.05 centimeter. Now if we want to work with millimeter, 1/2 times 1 millimeter equals to 0.5 millimeter. Now the least possible error will now depend on which one do they give you in the option. Both are actually correct. Both are correct. Now let's check the option. We are given 1.0, 0.5 millimeter, 0.2 millimeter, 0.1 millimeter, which is correct, 0.5 millimeter. Assuming you are given 0.05 in the option, this one will not be there. So one of them, either one of them will be there. Just note this sign. Like the sign is the one that is very important. One is the units rather. One is millimeter, one is centimeter. 0.05 is centimeter, 0.5 is millimeter. All right, let's proceed. A circular orbit of radius 4r round the earth, the acceleration of the satellite. This question is also it's also under Newton's law of gravitation. So if you are given F equals to gm1 m2 over r square, where you don't actually need to solve much here, since they said the radius is by what, 4r. So let's just put 4r in our radius, then square it, r square is equals to what, 16r. So that is 1/16. So the acceleration of the satellite is going to be what, g. If we change this to mg and other process, but basically what you just need to know is that it will be reduced by 16, which will be 1/16. So our correct answer will be option A. So if you see any question on these things, don't just waste your time on solving them. Now this question is also like this question 12. It's also like this. It says if the distance between 2 point charges is increased by a factor of 4, the magnitude of electrostatic force between them will be. This one is under Coulomb's law of electrostatic attraction. Now under Coulomb's law, we have the formula is force equals to K Q1 Q2 over r square. This is also almost the same thing with Newton's law. Now what did they say happens to the r? They said the distance between them is increased by the factor of 4. Now let's do it together. If the distance is increased by the factor of 4, which will be 4 square. Now 1/4 square. Then what will now happen to the force? The force will be reduced by 16. 4 square is what? 16. So our answer will be 1/16. As simple as that. If they said the distance between them is increased by a factor of 2, what will be the answer? 2 square is what? 4. 1/4, which is 1/4. If they said the is tripled, like it is increased by a factor of 3, what will be here? 3. Then our answer is going to be 3 square, which will be 1/9. So it's just inverse proportion. 1/4, 1/9, 1/16 and so on. So if it's increased by the factor of 2, this one will be 2 square, which will be 1/4. If it's increased by a factor of 3, this one will be, just note whatever they said it's increased by, then square it, 1/whatever you square. That's what your answer will be. We have 4 here. Square of 4 is what? 16. Then our answer is reduced to 1/16. As simple as that. Don't waste your time to solve question on this. If you see them in exam, just check what it increased by, then go for your answer straight. All right, the next question here, I think this is a very popular question. For what Celsius temperature is the reading on the Celsius scale equal to that on the Fahrenheit scale? The correct answer is -40 degrees. You wonder how I get that. Okay, let me just write out the formula. But basically, it's a constant value that you have to know. So once you see it in the exam, don't waste your time to solve. Now we have degree Fahrenheit equals to 9/5 degrees Celsius plus 32. So now, since they now say at what Celsius temperature will the reading be equal, so you just equate them with the same value. So just put x in both, then calculate the value of x, you get -40. As simple as that. But for exam case, if you see it, go straight for your answer. Nobody needs your solution. All right, let's move to the next question here. The question says 2 mirrors in a barber's shop are on the walls opposite to each other. A man seated in between the mirrors will see how many images of himself? Well, the correct answer is infinite. Now, how did I get that? Anytime you are given question like this, between two mirrors, two opposite mirror, means they are parallel. One is like this, one is like this. So what's the angle between them? No angle. Theta is 0. And the formula for calculating the number of image equals to 360 over theta minus 1. Now, when our theta is 0, what will be our answer? Infinite. So this particular question is infinite. This same question, I think this year is 2020. The 2019 aspect, they use parallel lines. When they are parallel to each other. So just note the terms that they use. Any of it. No need of solving anything. No need of calculating. Just go straight and pick infinite. Read the question within seconds, then pick your answer and move on. Now, the last question I'm going to be talking about is under constant velocity. This constant velocity. Now, they said a man stands on a spring scale in a lift. The lift descends at constant velocity. As a result, the scale reads a weight that is dash. Now, what's the weight if the particular lift descends at constant velocity? Note that at constant velocity, acceleration equals to 0. That is, there's no acceleration. Now, if the acceleration is 0, that means the weight is going to be 0. The force is going to be 0. Now, the weight of that particular man is going to equal to the weight of the lift. Let me explain that. We all know that the formula, it's descent, right? The formula is going to be R equals to weight minus MA, which is our force. If it's ascending, it's going to be R equals to weight plus MA, which our weight is going to be mg plus MA. This one too, mg minus MA. If it's descending, it's going to be towards gravity. So we are going to bring our weight to this side. It's going to be mg minus MA. Now, we are dealing with descent. Now, R equals to weight minus force, which is MA. Now, but they said the acceleration is 0, right? Now, if the acceleration is 0, our weight equals to m minus m into brackets 0. M times 0 is what? 0. Then R equals to weight. As simple as that. So the main reason for this is because they've already given us that at constant velocity, there's no acceleration. So if you see this in the exam, don't take your time to solve anything. Just go straight to your answer and pick and move on with any other necessary things. So these particular questions are not directly what may be asked in your exam. I just bring them out so that at least if you actually meet any of them, it's going to save your time and you won't just spend much time on them. Once you see them, just go straight with your answer. And another thing is, you may not see them live and direct. They might be twisted, like there might be little changes, but there is probability of you meeting any of them, and if you meet them, don't waste your time to solve them. Alright, thanks for watching. So see you in my next video. Please don't forget to share this video and subscribe. If you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Bye.